Hi, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner.
And our dog, Betty White.
Your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Could we have named it something more creative? Probably. But it's the name of our blog. It's our last name. We're on an adventure. Yada, yada, yada. After owning our own business, working 24/7.
And don't forget a mental breakdown in between.
We made a lifestyle change and decided to make the most out of life.
We sold our house, most of our belongings, downsized, and moved to the coast.
We live life minimally, but fully.
We live each day as an adventure.
This show will help you learn how to live life more fully, with more intention, by experiencing more, and with less stuff.
We'll talk about our own experiences, interview others who have much to share by creating a spark in our lives.
Some days we'll share real-life ongoings of what we're going through, and others will talk about our favorite flavor of waffle.
Come join our adventure.
It's the Arner Adventures Podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Shannon.
Our furry gal, Betty White, is hanging here beside us, and we're back for episode 101 of the Arner Adventures Podcast.
Yay! We broke the 100th episode mark, so now there's just a little less pressure that maybe we are going to actually make it through this thing. I think this is going to stick.
I think it might. And hey, here's to the next 100.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we wanted to, before we get into the episode, we wanted to let you all know that since we're sort of in that holiday season mindset, we've extended our Thalassophile candle fundraiser. So that, that's the candle that we collabed with Southern Oak Artisan. It's a soy candle. It raises money for mental health advocacy groups. And we did that for the month of October because it was Mental Health Awareness Month. But we've decided that, since people need gifts and it's the cozy season, we thought that we would go ahead and extend it through the end of the year. So if you purchase that candle, we're going to link it in the show notes. It will raise money for mental health advocacy groups, which are all listed on that page.
Yeah. And, we are in the thick of the Hygie. Is it Hygie season?
No, Hygge. Hygge season. Hygge, the Danish. It's a Danish word. It's also like the cozy, happy season.
The Hygge season.
There you go.
So get cozy with that candle. You know what I'm saying, kids? The Hygge season. Yeah.
Well, speaking of cozy, today's guest is just cozy and fun. Her name is Tamara Pflug.
And how can you not be fun with a name like that?
Pflug. You know what she should do?
Pflug.
She should say she is a fun PFUN and confidence coach. Oh, that's what she should do. I'm going to message her and let her know that.
That is a great idea.
Well, Tamara Pflug is a fun and confidence coach. Yes, you heard that right. And she is so amazing. She was born to be in this role that she's in. You're going to find this episode so inspirational. You're just going to fall in love with her and her accent. Ooh la la.
Hygge.
Are you ready to get to the convo?
Oh, I'm more than ready. Let's do it.
Well, we told you a little bit about our guest, and you know why we wanted her on the show, but we're going to tell you a little bit more about her. Her name is Tamara Pflug, and we love saying that, so we're going to say it. Tamara Pflug is your go-to guide for silencing that inner critic and regaining control over your life. If you've ever felt frustrated, stuck, or plagued by self-doubt, we all have, Tamara gets it, and she's here to help. With a warm and empathetic approach, she empowers you to overcome feelings of being unloved or misunderstood. Her mantra, "Nothing can bring you peace but yourself," encapsulates her belief in personal responsibility and the power of self-choice. When she's not guiding others to self-discovery or empowerment, you'll find Tamara savoring chocolate or immersing herself in personal development literature. Tamara, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I couldn't have sold myself better than what you did. So thank you guys. It's amazing. I'll hire you for PR.
Okay, there we go.
And let me just break. Pflug. I had to say it one more time just for practice.
Amazing. You said it better than I did again.
Oh,
my dad would be very proud.
Oh, well, we talked a little bit before you got on here that our last name is German as well. But still, when I remember seeing it and going, oh my gosh, how are we going to say that? And so we did cheat and look it up. How do you say it?
It's got a fun sound to it.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like something you drink out of.
Fluke.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. No, for sure. I think the PFL that is next, those three consonants, it's people I cannot get over.
Yeah.
Like it's too hard.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, we like to paint a picture for our listeners and those who are watching on YouTube as to where you are. So would you please share where you're coming to us from today?
Yes, so I'm originally, as you can hear, I'm originally from Geneva, Switzerland. So I do speak French. My mother tongue is French. And yeah, this is why I have this accent for you guys today. And we are really proud of having our own French, which is a little bit different than French, but yeah, I guess it's still French.
Okay. Okay. So when you go to France, are you speak, I mean, are there just like different dialect things that you can't pick up or do you know it like it's just fluent or is
No, we do speak exactly like the same. It's still the same French, but we
Okay.
have kind of, it's like we're singing a bit, people from Geneva. So people can notice that we have an accent, and we know, accent from south of France is different from Paris. It's a bit different. And Quebec, like from Montreal, it's also a completely different French. But no, I'm exaggerating. It's still the same, like slang, the same expressions. We have a Swiss expression, but yeah, generally I'm exaggerating. We are very proud Swiss,
Okay. Well, we appreciate it. We know time is valuable and there's a big time difference. So we appreciate you taking the time to spend it with us today. Well, okay. So we have tons of questions because we talk about on here a lot about that inner critic, the inner dialogue that we have with ourselves. And we've talked before about how we try to point it out for each other because sometimes it's hard to see, like even, we'll drop something from the cabinet, go, oh my gosh, you're so stupid, Shannon, or, whatever. And then the other one will say, okay, ease up. Like it's a little harsh, but I'm laughing about the small things, but other things can be bigger. And so I think everyone can sort of relate to that inner dialogue. So before we kind of get into how you help people and some of the advice you have, how did you get into this? Like, how did you get into this line of work?
I love that question. So, I used to be a teacher. So at school, kids were so amazing, so authentic, simple, like I really like kids. And then actually I saw how much in our life, we could learn so much more about making decisions, improving our relationship, not take things too personally, giving to other people our emotional life, like you take care of it, I don't want to do it. So I started to be interested in personal development, seeing what we are missing, in like what I can see with my friends, like adults' life, but at school also what I wanted to teach them instead of what I was actually teaching them, which is interesting. But I think like making decision and all of it's just, to me, so much more important, I guess, to make like happy kids make happy adults, So then I started to learn life coaching and I started coaching people, but more, on time management, weight loss, a lot on dating also. There was a time a lot on dating. And I saw that deep down, it very often come down to self-worth, like giving ourselves permission to believe something like about ourselves. Again, on dating, time management, like having our own back. And then I decided, actually, I used to struggle a lot with confidence. I got coached a lot. And I decided I'm going to dive into confidence, help people, because I do believe that when we feel confident, it impacts everything in our life because we feel this genuine emotional peace and freedom that adversity, like what people say, what's happening in the world, it can happen, but you're still in control, because I believe confidence is really about like having our emotions under control, like being able to feel and the willingness of feeling any kind of emotion. So I became the confidence coach and I added the fun tagline because I think that we take life and ourselves so seriously and we can for sure have a much more uncomplicated life. So this is why I added. And you would be surprised how much people want much more fun in their life. It's crazy. I did not know. And actually people come more for the fun than for the confidence lately.
Well, I got to think they work together too, fun and confidence.
Yeah?
You got to be having a little fun to probably stay confident. If you're not having fun, it seems like it would be harder to keep your confidence up.
Yeah. And I also think, you can use exactly what you said from before, when your inner critic is telling you like, what are you doing? I also think that we can use everything as a way to or beat ourselves up, which I'm not for this. I don't see any upsides, or an opportunity to love ourselves more and to exactly what you just said. I think, Jerry, like to just have much more fun. Like, I did this. funny guy, and just move on, It doesn't have to be so serious. The problem is never, what we're thinking. It's what we make it mean. Like, I'm a stupid person, It doesn't have to be so serious, So yeah, exactly what you said, Jerry. I think it goes together. I like it.
That's so true. When I look at the word confidence, even though like your tagline right here says Tamara, your fun and confidence coach. When I see the word confidence, I always in my mind think it's something I have to work on it. So for me, it's a little intimidating. I don't know if it's like that for you.
I think so. And that's where that helps to add the fun and in
That's
front
what
of
I
the confidence.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Let's dig in. This is going to be fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you think that most people are constantly working on their confidence, or is that just us? Is it just us?
just three of us, I'm telling you. So no, I believe what is interesting is that confidence, and it goes a bit the idea, personal development, which I love, and at the same time, it's a bit take the best and leave the rest. It's like the life coaching industry. I like that it's unregulated, so you can, as long as you help people and people get results, you can have the certification you want. People have tons of certification and no clients. People just know they can help, and it attracts people, to get the help. So I believe that it's a bit like intangible. I want to be confident. So it's, for example, for marketing reason, it's better to think of what somebody who's struggling with self-doubt is feeling on a Tuesday afternoon, at 3 p.m., just to be very specific.
Yeah.
But it is true that I think people would want a little bit more confidence if you really start talking, even if people get vulnerable, because by thinking that they want to feel more confident, it means a bit that they're lacking it, that they feel self-doubt, that they don't trust or love themselves. So for sure, when you share it, I don't think people will share it on a daily day-to-day life. I think it's more between friends. But it's interesting what you said about what confidence means to you, if it's work or something very important and very serious, because with clients, when I started, we always talk about what is being confident to them, specifically to their life, because it's so different from people, it's. So yeah, to answer your question, I think that people would if they could buy it on a shelf in a store, they would buy more confidence. But it's true that the first question is in what situation actually they want to be more confident in, so.
Yeah.
It's a cozy season, and a good night's sleep is always essential.
Oh gosh, we always talk about when the change of the season happens, you really have to make sure that you're getting some good sleep. If you don't get good sleep, and then the days are shorter and it can be kind of gloomy, you're just setting yourself up for a really bad day, right?
You are. So transform your bed into a safe and refreshing haven.
With Cozy Earth bamboo sheets. We love our Cozy Earth sheets. I mean, we love them all times of year, not just during the cozy season. It's just a sustainable and eco-friendly bedding. We just love it.
And there's no going back to your old sheets once you've used Cozy Earth. There's no going back to cotton or denim or whatever your old sheets were made of.
That's right. And you know who also loves Cozy Earth?
Well, I think many of our listeners might be able to guess.
Lady O, Oprah. When Oprah says that something is a good product, we really just should have stopped it. We should have just stopped, and we should have just said, Oprah loves Cozy Earth. And that's it.
You get Cozy Earth sheets. You get Cozy Earth sheets.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, you get 40% off of your Cozy Earth purchase when you go to arnerventures.com/Cozy Earth, and you can use our link and our code to save. It's the biggest discount you're ever going to get on Cozy Earth. We promise.
I would think so. It's unbeatable. 40%. Cozy Earth's own sales can't compare to these savings.
They definitely can.
Yeah.
So head on over there and have a better night's sleep this fall. I think when you talk about it being intangible, is sort of the way I look at happiness. To me, happiness is so I don't know. It just seems like is that real? Or should we just be content?
Yeah.
So it sort of reminds me of that similar. Happiness is so high, and then confidence to me looks so high up on a ladder that it's like both of them, I'm working to get there. And
Yeah, it's kind of a complex dynamic. There's just so much involved, and it comes down to the individual.
so but fun still makes it for me like, oh, okay, maybe that is tangible. Maybe it is something that we can get to.
But look, I will actually just to enter into the the myth. I would say that it's not as complicated as we make it mean. I think, like, just to enter into make a small debate here, I believe that it can be much more simple than this. Like, for example, my coaching, I love the idea of I don't know if you're familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy. That is basically saying that your thoughts create your reality. And what if I like to think that it's like coaching, all of personal development, it's very simple. Like, there are a few steps, like a few things to do, but it's right, it's not easy, because it comes down to also feeling your emotions, like being uncomfortable, which most of the time, you're an entrepreneur, like, you don't want to do something because you don't want to feel bad, like a negative emotion. So what I'm saying by this is, like, I believe that also feeling happy, to just like a simple thing in life, like to enjoy the little things, it comes from just one thought we're thinking, it creates one emotion. I believe that our emotions come from what we're thinking. So if we want to feel confident, it actually goes back to thinking one thought, such as, yeah, maybe I can do that. And you feel confident. It sounds very simple again, but I think that if you want to feel happy, I don't know, maybe you guys, it's just like being with your dog, and going out to eat, not because I love eating, but I mean any other example, but then it can be that simple. So it is complex. I agree that it's like many things are maybe entering the equation. And at the same time, I like to keep it, back to simple, with the idea of making it uncomplicated, that maybe if you think one thought, of course, we have to believe it to be true, but then you can feel happy in that moment, and then we don't need to get somewhere or get something to feel this way, but we can create it in our mind.
Yeah.
Did I convince you?
Yeah. No, you did.
No, yeah, I like that. And happiness, you want to think it's a choice, right? Like,
100%. And that confidence, I wanted to also that I heard this one time on a podcast, I don't remember, a long time ago. Somebody said that confidence, or like feeling worthy, it's a decision and not a destination, which means that there's somebody, and I used to do it, I have to be a product of my product, but I said to myself, I am never, from this day on, I am never beating myself up again. Like, if I have a thought, it's okay, because we have 60,000 thoughts per day, but I don't have to believe it to be true. Like, if I think, for example, I'm maybe not good enough, or I'm not going to succeed at this, it's just a thought. And I saw your question, like there was one that asked, we are not our thoughts. And I really believe this. So I catch my brain and I see, it's just a thought, just seeing it for what it is. And I'm never like letting myself, beating myself up. So just to say exactly what you said, Jerry, I think it's also a decision to, to really like, think on purpose, to think intentionally. Again, it goes back to what you're thinking, create what you're feeling, I believe. But Shannon, you are saying something. So if you remember.
Well, no, I do. It's exactly that. Like, how do you have any, it is your thoughts, right? We do have all those thoughts. And as you're saying it and pointing it out, I'm thinking about the things that I do have the thoughts of in the mornings. And I sometimes I can catch it. Sometimes I reroute it and say, oh, Shannon, why are you thinking that? Let's turn that into more of a positive. But I feel like as the day goes on, or the more things that are going on in your life, at least for me, speak for myself, it is more difficult to turn the thoughts. I guess I just want to say what strategies, or if you could just give people tips about they recognize, I guess the first thing would be to recognize it, but then recognize that those negative thoughts can come up. So what do you do? Do you just immediately say, well, okay, catch it and then turn it around into a positive?
I would say that you don't even have to turn it around like right away. I think that the very first thing and I love thinking this, it's, our brain is still the brain from the cave people, like cavemen. So it's just looking for danger and survival all the time. So this is why 85% of our thoughts, like every day, it's going to be negative, because it's looking for danger. This is why everybody, we don't want to look at the ambulance, but we do want to look for danger, because our brain is like saying, is it me? Am I going to be hurt? Like, I'm going to get hurt. And I think just to remind myself, of course, this is the negative. I think it's a cognitive bias now, that looking for the negative, really. So 85% of what we're thinking is going to be negative, just because we have a perfect, healthy brain, So this is the first step to think, I'm normal, because obviously when we think negative, we're like, but I'm not a negative person. I'm trying to be optimistic, like positive. So I think the very first step is and this is what I like also about coaching, is reminding ourselves, every day that it's 85% of our thoughts are going to be negative. 95% of what we're thinking is what we thought already yesterday, which again, if we believe the fact that our thoughts create our reality, this is why we have the same reality, because we keep on thinking the same thoughts unconsciously. This is what coaching is all about. I love it, paying attention to what we're thinking. And it's very empowering, because if we want anything to be different, the only thing that has to change, only simple again, the only thing that has to change is what we're thinking. So it's very, very empowering. I love this idea. So to answer your question, very simple again, it's exactly like to observe, exactly to be conscious of what we're thinking and to observe it for what it is. Like, it's a thought. We have 60,000 thoughts per day, which 85% are going to be negative. And to not believe everything we're thinking. But this is a step. It sounds simple, really, but it's most of the people will die believing everything they're thinking, But the moment that I have a thought, maybe it's not true. I don't know. I love it. So tell me what you guys think.
I'm just sitting here thinking how
I love it.
I'm just sitting here thinking how when I'm thinking about anything, and this is also going to just tell you a lot about me, I always plan for the worst. I'm like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen here? Okay, plan for that, because then maybe you'll be able to handle whatever else happens. But then I feel like as though I'm living in constant fear. And so you almost saying that maybe that's normal, but I do need to work on, because I do feel like I go into things with fear. I say it all the time. I wish I wasn't so fearful. And it's not fearful of doing something. It's fearful of what is coming. It's like this pending fear. And I know that the thoughts in my head, are their emotions, and then it transfers into this fear, and so it becomes like this spiral, and I'm always working towards it. So I like that you said it's normal, but I also am like, I need to figure out a way to get out of that. Like, to, I mean, how do you do that? If it is normal to say, oh, okay, there's ambulance, let me make sure it's not me, like protecting yourself constantly, in a way, like with what I'm describing, does seem harmful and negative, right?
Maybe, but I think also fear, I think there is something good about fear. I think it's your brain that just wants to make sure you're going to be safe. So also, because I like also, and of course not giving unsolicited coaching, because I don't do this. I hate when people do this with me, so I'm not doing it. But canceling what I just said, when you say, I'm a fearful person, like I wonder how, what reality you create for yourself when you have thoughts of like that makes you like create fear for you, but you are not like a fearful person. But this is how you describe yourself. You know what I'm talking about? It's just interesting, because probably you feel fear because of some thoughts you're thinking and you believe them to be true. So but don't need to coach you here through this, but it just, I find it interesting. And also to, I would ask you also, what if fear is not a problem? You can also, people feel anxiety like every day, and they still have a wonderful life. So you can also live, and I see, so your page, your website, and you guys seems like you have a wonderful life. So you can also live an amazing life while feeling fearful. So it's just interesting to make it mean it, something that I really like, it's never something we're thinking that is a problem, but what we make it mean, so maybe having all of these fears or having thoughts and believing, like thinking of the worst case scenario, doesn't look like it's a problem until you think that it's supposed to be different. You know what I mean? That you're not supposed to have these fears, thinking that maybe other people don't have fears. I wonder what are the other thoughts, but of course, no analyze, and nothing has to be fixed, for you. Nothing's wrong with you, but I find it so interesting. I agree. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, I always think that that love and fear are the two most motivating emotions, and I don't know if this is a good analogy, but I always liken it to, it's good to have a fearful mindset. You really need that. If you step out in front of a bus, love isn't gonna save you. You can't sit there and go, maybe this won't be so bad. You gotta be fearful and move back really quick, right?
This is how you see that you found each other, because it's bringing you, probably the peace and the quiet around the fear for you, like.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But it's true that the emotion, also it's part of, I love, I'm so passionate about emotions, because I believe there is such a big buffet of all the emotions like available, to us. And it's just so fun. Like you mentioned fear, but I think it's one of many others we we feel. So I just it's interesting what you said, love or fear. You know that
Yeah.
people motivate themselves a lot also with hate. This is why, when it comes to confidence, people think that they have, they're afraid, for example, I like to set goals from a place of abundance, like I'm good where I am right now, but I just want something else. Oh, I want to lose weight. I don't know, just for the fun again. But people think that they're afraid, if they don't hate themselves, they're going to get deeper, like fatter. I don't know, So it's just interesting I think I would say when you say fear or love, to motivate change, I would say even like people use a lot hate and, self-doubt, no, like beating yourself up to make sure you
Like
make a change.
deprecation, self-deprecation. Yeah.
But I went to another direction, but it's interesting.
No, it is. And
Yeah.
I read, you often remind your clients that you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, but do you feel as though you should allow them to still happen, but then tell yourself, like, if I'm scared, well, it doesn't mean I'm or fearful. I'm not a fearful person. That I feel like I'm out of my mind today. Oh my gosh, I feel so stressed, but maybe that's not who I am. It's just what I'm feeling. Right?
Yes, exactly. And it's, from like when it comes to confidence, people like self-doubt most of the time for marketing reasons, people come like really have the thoughts such as something wrong with me or I'm different. And it's not because we think this that it's the truth. It's not because we think something's wrong with me that something is wrong with me. I think everybody thinks something's wrong with them. So in the end, we are all like, yeah, but thanks to you guys and our podcast and our lifestyle, we can show people to think and to live differently. But I mean, like it's really, I believe really that, we are not our thoughts. It's not because we believe something that it's true. We can look at as thoughts like clouds that are passing in the sky. You can just let them pass, and it's a habit. You don't have to hang to them, like to believe, to live your life like attaching to them. But at the same time, we will every day have thoughts, again, the same from yesterday, a lot, and 5% new ones. And if you train your brain more and more, you can believe something new. But I'm not saying it's work, but I agree it's complex. Notice I have to say it's simple, but again, it's not easy to do.
Hey, well, it's that time of year again, and we can't wait to tell you about our very favorite soy candles from Southern Oak Artisan.
Yes, they're a trusted sponsor of the episode, have been for a while, but we love their products. They are 100% natural soy candles. One of the things that we love any time of year, but especially in the cozy season, are our candles all around the house.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, and you're right. All times of the year. In fact, in the summertime, sometimes we hate that we don't feel we can light them because it's just too warm. But man, it takes a lot not to light those candles.
Yeah.
And these candles are made with non-toxic ingredients, and which makes for a safe and enjoyable breathing around the house.
They have pumpkin scents this time of year, apple. There's some seasonal things for the fall and the winter. And they are non-toxic, like Jerry said. They're not overpowering scents. They're clean. And they come in these little jars that once you burn it, by the way, soy burns clean. So you can reuse the jars for, I don't know, you can put some seedlings in there. You can put some earrings and jewelry in there, whatever you want to do, storage in the kitchen. It's just really nice.
Oh, and they look good anywhere. They would look good anywhere in your house, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, super nice. Well, if you want to take advantage of a discount that Southern Oak Artisan is extending to you, go to arneraventures.com/Southern Oak Artisan. Or you can make sure that you go to our show notes where it will be linked there.
There you go.
Yeah. When you're working with a client, is there something that you start with? Like, is there something that you say, okay, this is your first step? Like anything that, I know you have your coaching, but is there a tip that you can say to someone who's listening, just if you can do one thing, work on this one thing, what would it be?
Yeah, I would, just to make it like a puzzle, like to fit with the piece from before, just to really try to observe yourself thinking, to go out of your body. Really, I think it's that simple. Like simple. Again, very simple and not easy to do because we believe our stories. We are really defending them, Yeah. But I like to explain this. This is also very often what I start my coaching sessions with, is saying that in the world, there are really two things, probably many more, but for this example, one, you have the facts, that like circumstances that are very neutral, such as your age, my height, my nationality, like it's something that would be proven in the court of law, I guess, most of the world. And on the other side, we have our thoughts, which like circumstances trigger our thoughts, and again, then our thoughts create, our reality. But what is interesting with this is why, for the same event, like for example, now this podcast recording, we will have maybe different thoughts about the same event. So this is where our power resides, I think, for coaching. It's really that no matter what's happening in the world, the circumstances, we can always choose intentionally what we want to think about them, and then it changes completely all your life, which really explains that with the same circumstances again, or even like chronic illness, like things that are very hard for many people. Some people deal with it differently, because they choose intentionally to think something different about it. But first you have to be conscious of what you're thinking, which very often we blame others in the world for the way we're feeling. But now you know that it's our thoughts that create our emotions. So we are responsible because, it's never the circumstance, it's what we think.
And how we react to it. Yeah.
This is right after. I believe that just to keep it organized for me when I'm coaching also people to have a bit of a tool, to help for credibility. Now, just to organize it, it just after from emotion, actually, we act a certain way, or we don't act because we feel dread. We don't want to go to the gym in the non-action line. And then this create a result. And very often, I can send it to you later if you want. It's really cognitive behavioral therapy. That's very, very often our reality mirrors or like creates evidence for what we're thinking, So no matter what we're thinking, we'll create results. And also what you said before of I'm fearful. Again, you're not your thought. But what is interesting is also cognitive bias. I think that the brain will look for evidence and proof for everything we think. It cannot reinvent the wheel every day. So for think you like now, for example, I said like I'm gonna be hungry soon. My brain's telling me maybe you should eat this, maybe you should eat that, and I'm not hungry. So just interesting how the brain, just because it's efficient, will look for proof and evidence of everything we think. So again, if you think, to go back to your question of observe ourselves, just to give one tip, if we think maybe I'm not good enough, I can assure you the brain is so efficient, it's gonna find all the reason why like you're not good enough today or yesterday. Past, like don't get me started on the past because you will find evidence. I think also it's just easier to beat ourselves up and to hate ourselves than to love ourselves. We never learn, like when you ask people what do you like in life, they never mention themselves, like it's many things.
That's
strong.
True. That's so true.
You know what I mean? So it's not easy to go. I think the brain is wired for certain it's efficient, but we need to rewire the brain. Sounds fun.
Do you think in modern life, because it was kind of coming down to is like mindfulness, watching what's going through your head, and in modern life, there's just so much stimulation to keep your mind working out there. There's the media and whatnot, and a faster pace culture does not give your mind as much time to slow down where you can really process your thoughts and step back, like you're saying, and look at them. So it seems like nowadays that's why mindfulness is kind of a buzzword these days, because people have had to learn to cope with the faster paced society and all the stimulation that comes in. Does that make sense?
For sure. And I think that at the same time, after it's stronger than us because you have the phone, and I'm doing kind of something that is called positive intelligence. It's a new strategy that is very interesting to stop. Not digging into this, but just to say, and it's exactly, and I have 2 minutes, just 2 minutes of exactly like trying to focus on one thing specifically. And when you said that, it made me think of this. I was doing it, like trying to focus 2 minutes. What are 2 minutes, and I was thinking, I need to do this after, I need to do that. And I want to be a billboard for coaching, and for peacefulness. And I was getting stressed for 2 minutes. So I agree with you. And then it's still a neutral circumstance. We have to override our brain. Mindfulness, or like all the notification on the phone, everything, we do have to make a choice. No, right now, like having the thought, I'm focusing on this.
That's right.
But I agree that the mindfulness, it's true. It's very in, like my dad is saying, he's in his 80s and he says, what is this stuff? We never had this in the past.
Well, and I think that sort of when you talked about the fast-paced world and the way that people think about, their careers or their lives and we work hard. It's a work in progress to make sure that we have that separate time that is not work and that we're enjoying whatever it is that we want to be enjoying. So what advice do you have for people who have a struggle with breaking those two up? Because a lot of the times your workplace is somewhere that you might not be thinking about working on yourself, or maybe you are. Maybe you're trying to get those tasks done. and people struggle with the division and the balance. So what advice do you have about that as far as having self-confidence, but also struggling with that? I don't know. I always think of it like a ladder. I think people are always trying to have more success. And what does that mean? And we can get into a whole podcast about that. But what advice do you have for people who are struggling with like a work-life balance and then confidence as well?
Yeah, and it's so interesting because when I saw a question, work-life balance, I said to myself, am I gonna just answer something that I really think of, or maybe I'm gonna just like say something not normal? But my thought about first work-life balance, I'm not saying I don't believe in it because I do struggle a bit with it. I just think that sometimes the way we use it to look at our work and like life and having fun makes it serious again, that it's when I'm working it's not fun and I need to do things which I have to say editing stuff, or I just procrastinate because I don't want to do it. I really don't like it. And at the same time, by looking at it this way with work-life balance, I do believe that, and maybe you guys are on my side thinking that you choose kind of what the work you're doing, even if it's annoying a lot, like percentage of the time. But I do believe that when we think work-life balance, I'm a bit thinking that it's then work sounds like bad and life is like the fun moment of the week, so then it looks like we're working hard, which I like that you mentioned the busy, because I have lots of opinion about, there is a badge of honor for being busy today. People like to say they're busy, which nothing wrong, everybody says it, and I like, today I worked good, I was really busy. But I think what I'm trying to say here is just, I'm sure that we can still find fun and purpose in what we do, no matter what work we do. And if people don't feel this way, maybe we can change or not also, as long as we love our reasons. And to answer your question, sounds very vague. I would say exactly like to try to separate it like as much as like what I heard from one of my coaching certification was to first plan your free time in your calendar and then your work, because often when we do work and then you make like something that could be done in 45 minutes, it takes 3 hours. It's because we don't know when we are really like finishing work, because if you're like me, we work a lot at night also sometimes, on Saturday afternoon, or Saturday morning, I was going to say for you guys. So I think this is just to give maybe this tip. Sorry, got a bit
no, it's all great.
I think really the first thing is really to plan the fun thing, which can be even 15 minutes, half an hour per day. And then the work task that I believe also not to measure it in amount of work, like hours, but of results. Because you can spend 2 hours, you guys probably know as and everybody, but you can work 2 hours on something and it could have like take you maybe half an hour to do it. Which the rule here is B- work. It's better to make it done like B- than not done at all. So I think it's more how much time do I give myself for like to do this task and then to get over with.
I think the most common theme that has come out of all of your answers today is fun. Like fun. Every time you say it, I'm just like, that's great. And I also love that you talked about earlier, and I do think we agree with this, that to not follow in the norm is actually good. Like, I think when we have a lot of lifestyle choices that people don't understand. We talked about this before we started recording, and even, living small and with less stuff, it's not the norm, but we are at the point now where we really don't care what people think about that. It makes us feel good. And so that's what we're going to do. As long as we're not hurting someone, I think we're good.
Exactly. It's funny you said it. It's exactly what I think, but I'm not hurting anybody. It's exactly what I'm saying.
But I'm sitting here with that. If I'm that way, then why don't I implement that, the more positive, into other things? And so I like that Jerry, you brought up the mindfulness. And before we get to your fast 5 questions, I wanted to see, when you work with your clients, do you have different mindfulness exercises or routines that you advise people to have in place? And could you recommend one to our listeners?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if it's too much mindfulness. It looks like Jerry's the expert here, but I would say just for me, it's not really mindful, but it's just to take time to celebrate more, to, what yesterday went well, even just last week, which is very easy. There is a book called The Gap and the Gain. He says we focus so much on the gap, between what we want to do, like where we're going to get. And actually we don't see all of what we gain, like who we were a year ago, who we were 10 years ago, And I think just to, it's not sure it's mindfulness, but for sure it helps to see, celebrate even one thing per day that, we like the way we did it, or something that happens. So to answer your question, like coaching sessions, I always start with like celebrations of the week. And it's at the start, it's so hard. We never learn, really to celebrate what we did, or even catching a thought. So my clients are like looking in their notes and I see them celebration, like they don't want to do it because at first you sound arrogant, because why me celebrating, but I think it's a good habit. But
I
it's just
like that.
mindfulness.
It's like a gratitude practice, but I
Yeah,
almost like
exactly.
celebration better,
Yeah.
And sometimes it is hard to find, like we believe in a gratitude practice and finding that thing that you're grateful for. And sometimes it's breathing. Sometimes it's that the sun is out. But I do like the celebration part. That makes it more fun.
Yeah, I do too. And we go over a lot of these themes very often in a lot of our podcasts and our everyday life. But to make my takeaway from today's conversation will be that fun and celebration was kind of in the forefront, because we don't plan our fun first. We try to squeeze it in later, and sometimes it never comes, and you can really grind yourself down that way. So you got to have something to at least look forward to, or
you're so right,
whether it's the day, the weekend, or
yet I will tell you also this. I also think that as much as fun is, for the weekend, for you guys doing tonight and tomorrow and with your dog and everything, I also believe that every task, not everything, again, the editing, I'm trying to find the fun, and it's not easy, but try really to, I think the quality of our life depends also on the quality of the questions you ask yourself, because again, your brain will answer to any question you ask. So what's wrong with me? It is going to tell you what's wrong with you, So I think that if you ask for tasks, for example, before we talked about walking, which again sounds like there is life, which is fun, and there is work on the other side. And I'm like fighting for the fun in the work, like you said, Jerry. And I'm wondering if we can also start a task for work. And I've been doing this on my Instagram recently, trying to imitate your success, you guys on Instagram. And I asked myself, like, how can I make it fun? How can I make it my way? What would I want to see on Instagram if I would, what would be helpful to one person? But really, how can I make it fun? I think that fun sometimes sounds like it's not serious. And I strongly believe now we live in the best time ever with also COVID and everything. People want more fun. People want connection. They want to, the things that really matter in life. It's nothing. It's fun. Not everybody has this value. And I am all about silliness and fun. But I think just a little bit more. I think it's coming from the idea of light, like lighthearted. And it's something that I really want to share with you guys, that you can also do it. It's a great exercise for any person that has a job, actually, to write in what ways we help people have a better life, even if it's not, even no matter what kind of job it is. And there is one, I made a list of 131 ways that coaching helps my client change their life, because they change their life. I just help them. And the first one was to have a lighthearted attitude towards life, to less take things so heavy, so seriously. And even my face was very serious, but I think this is imagine if we can buy this on a shelf, for a life, I would be like, I'm taking $5,000 to take things less seriously and have a lighthearted attitude.
Yes. Oh God.
You cannot stop me. You understand why I have a podcast.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into your fast 5 questions. These are just this or that. Little fun. Now even the first one, I'm like, oh, maybe we should have made that more fun, but
all good, don't worry. Don't beat yourself up.
I know, here we go. Like, why am I'm already like being negative about myself?
No,
like
it's your brain, it's not you.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Number 5 is always fun. So that's why it's fun to be curious. The one who reads number 1.
Go ahead. You want to read number 1?
Then you get to read number 5.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll start it off. And here we go. Social media detox or TV detox?
Social media detox.
Okay, number 2, physical exercise or mindfulness meditation?
Mindfulness, no moving.
Okay.
Once again, I get another fun one. Blueberries or strawberries?
Tough one. Strawberries.
Okay.
That is the more fun
We did
choice.
a little research, which is why we asked that.
Yeah, across the board.
We know you love all berries.
It was really hard. That's mean.
I agree.
Blueberries can be fun, but they're never as fun as strawberries.
No, I think strawberries. And strawberries are so versatile. You can just do so much with them. And
Life of the
and they look so weird with the little dots. Like, just doesn't
Yeah.
Okay, number 4. Oh, is it my turn?
It is.
Okay. Number 4, dining out or chef cooking for you at home?
You read my answers, huh? No, I think dining out because I don't want to smell at home.
Oh, yeah. And the mess. Like, who's going to clean it? And then you're going to feel the pressure
The
about
chef.
it.
And the chef cannot be good at chef or cleaning. Doesn't make sense.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, and the much anticipated number 5 is ketchup or mustard.
Ketchup all the way.
Okay.
You too, guys? Well, you probably already answered this.
Well, I'm a mixture of. There's only been maybe one other person on the podcast that's ever answered it this way, but I like putting them together. I like having them together. But,
And well, I like both. They each have their place, but I do like mustards probably a little better because there's different kinds. I like the basic yellow mustard. I like the spicy. I love Grey Poupon, whatever you call that. What is that kind of mustard?
I don't know, fancy mustard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She doesn't like fancy.
I don't like the
mustards.
fancy mustard. I just want yellow mustard. I don't need all the other fancy stuff.
Oh, Dijon mustard. That's what,
Dijon.
yeah,
Dijon. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He loves the Dijon.
Yeah,
said
so
it's
that
really good.
probably mustard edges out a little bit for me because there's different options. for it.
Yeah. But we
Mhm.
say one day we're gonna do a Venn diagram to see what are the common people that choose. Yeah, we
like
don't
a
know.
chart, like seeing how much.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just thought of hot dog, and then I had to add ketchup. This is why.
Yeah, I'm that way too. A lot of people don't believe in that, but I think ketchup needs to go on a hot dog with mustard, though. But
No.
anyway,
but okay.
okay. So the question that we do ask everyone, and Tamara, we would love it if you could answer it, is what does a life well lived mean to you?
Deep stuff. I would say,
make it fun. Let's make it
again,
fun.
yeah, exactly. No, I would say to just exactly like not take it chill, but just a life that you're truly proud that you made your own choice. You guys would probably follow me on this. You did not hurt anybody, but like you just did what your intuition. I'm all about the intuition. Every question you have, stop asking outside of recipe probably, and listen to on the inside. I'm sure we have all the answers inside of us. So just to take it. Probably it's translated from the French. I apologize, but like chill, to relax and to not take it too serious, and to really listen to your intuition and do whatever you want, as long as we don't hurt anybody. I think this is the best way you can look at your life when you die as old as possible, and just be proud of every choice you made. There was no right or wrong choice. You just made it because you loved your reasons at that time. This is it.
It's very.
You like?
What's the French? There's a French term about just living your. What is it?
Bon appétit.
No, like a joy of life thing, like a I don't know.
C'est la vie, French?
No, kind of, but no.
Oh.
There's a term that's kind of like live your life, like just enjoy your life. And
I really want to know. Probably I know it for sure, but
I'm gonna find it, and I'll end up putting it down in the show notes, and I'll send you an email about it.
I feel like it was a song title at one time.
I don't know. Anyway, okay. Well, we went on about that. Well, okay. So Tamara, if someone's listening to this and they are like, I really want to start building my confidence and have more fun in life and with my thoughts, and they want to work with you, how do they get in touch with you? Let's tell everybody about your podcast and just all the ways that we can find you. And we're going to link it all down in the show notes.
Thank you so much. This is so nice of you guys. I feel already honored. So actually you can find me on my website is personaldevelopmentzone.com. I believe years ago, and I've decided, it's going to be good enough,
Yeah.
Anyway, and I have a Instagram also, Fun and Confidence Coach. No, I think it's Tamara Fun and Confidence Coach. And I'm on LinkedIn also. But you can find me also on Google Maps. You would be surprised, guys. Like on Google Maps, it's also a nice place to be. It's the future. And basically also my podcast, it's the Get Confident, Get Happy podcast, which is also a great example of confidence because I started it a long time ago with no goals. So it's just to show you don't wait to be ready, and again, just have fun. Celebrate you did something. The worst that can happen, it's funny you said that, Shannon, because I believe that the worst case scenario is often where we are. Like sometimes we're afraid of what might happen, but often it's where we are outside of horrible stuff. But the worst case scenario is not going after what we really want to do. But this is more in a coaching, personal development like journey view. I understand that if it comes to things that can happen in life, it's another topic for another episode.
Yeah. I do want to ask you something before we leave, because the people who we have on the podcast that are always just so admirable, and we just think, oh gosh, like you're very inspirational. But I also like to find maybe some relatability for people who are like, well, gosh, then she's just happy all the time. I mean, I'm guessing you have moments that you might still work on your self-confidence. Can you just give us a little bit of that? Like, do you, I'm assuming you can recognize, I mean, you still have moments like that, right?
For sure. And the problem is that when I have them, I'm like using it against myself. Like, I'm like, but I'm a coach. I should know better. And I catch myself, but I believe this thought, but I know I should not believe. But then I'm already in my story. So no, 1,000,000%, because I still have a human brain that is wired for survival. So I will still beat myself up. And if, for example, a client is not like resigning everything, I will make it mean something about myself when I know better. But and very often I need, even like continuing to build my business, as I shared before. I want to have, a place for people, because I'm learning American Sign Language and I'm using it so much to beat myself up. So I'm trying to remind myself, make sure, again, use it as an opportunity to love yourself and not to beat yourself up. Yeah. And make it fun, because I make it very serious. So every day I need to come back. And also I believe, we actually, this is getting too long, but 50% of the time in life, we do have negative emotions because of this negative bias. But very often, without being aware of it, we overeat, we overdrink because we want to cover this. We think we should feel happy all the time. We have everything to be happy. This every day, I have to tell myself, okay, it's okay. I have a negative emotion. It's going to pass. And I'm teaching. I'm making money from this, and I'm still getting cut by it. So just to tell you, 1,000,000% for sure.
Okay. Well, all right. We just want to make sure.
No, I'm good, but I'm probably going to cry in the next few hours, but I'm okay.
You're normal then. You're just totally normal.
No.
Well, Tamara, thank you so much for being with us. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to link all this down in the show notes. And this was just a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Did you have fun, guys?
I had fun.
I had a blast. Yeah.
It was a topic that I thought would be like pretty heavy, but this has been fun. I love it.
It could be, but you put a fun spin on it.
That's right.
We had just lighthearted spin.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Really, I'm really, really, really excited. Like I'm still, but like I'm honored also. Thank you so much, really, from the bottom of my heart, from Switzerland to the US.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, are you just not amped and pumped with all the positivity in the world right now?
Oh, I certainly am. That was just a wonderful time on a Saturday morning in our home.
Have
somebody like that over.
It was. We always say that it's nice to have someone over into our home on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it did feel that way. I think it was 6 p.m. her time in Switzerland. But if you listen to that and you're listening to this now, you know that you are just full of just happiness. And okay, here is the phrase I was trying to think of. I said that there's a French term, something about the joy of life, and it is joie de vivre. joie de vivre. You know what? I'm not sure if that's even how you say it. Joie de vivre.
Yeah, you got it. You got it down.
Joie de vivre.
Hygge. Hygge.
So that's what I was trying to think of, and I could not think of it. And you thought it was like c'est la vie. She thought it was bon appetit.
I know.
Joie de vivre. Joy of life.
That's good.
Yes,
that's good.
That is what we were thinking of.
Yeah.
And man, after having that conversation with her, I have a joie de vivre.
She really did have a kind of lighten up on yourself kind of quality through all of her work.
Did.
It's
she did.
She didn't scare you away from anything that she was trying to tell you, because she just kind of had that do it at your own pace and lighten up on yourself.
That's right.
She was. And I really enjoyed that.
Just a great fun and confidence coach. She. I want to work with her.
Yeah.
I might look into working with her starting in 2024.
And she smiled the whole time.
Oh my gosh. Head over to YouTube and watch that. She was smiling the whole time.
She did. It was fun.
It was. And, all the information is down in the show notes. Again, reminder about the Thalassophile candle. That's a soy candle collab with Southern Oak Artisan. And it raises money for mental health advocacy. So think about that for the what season, Jer?
Hygge.
That's right. The Hygge season. Getting cozy.
If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from anything we talked about today, or any episode, our guests, or anything, please share it with a friend. It's a great way of supporting the podcast and us, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review rating on the platform you're listening to us on. Oh, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button because that also supports us. We would love that.
You can always find us, links we refer to during the show, and any of the podcast sponsors at ournerdventures.com or linked here in these show notes. And until next time, enjoy that journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dos vidaniana.